Video games have perfected the art of playing as the hero. We've discussed before about the best video game protagonists, so please check that out if you have not. But now, let's focus on the antagonist. In this video, we're going to rank villains, antagonists, taking into account their impact on the story of each game, their characterization, iconic status, and more. Be warned, there may be some minor spoilers in this, especially if you don't know any of the villains, so yeah, like I said, just be warned. Number 10.
Killing you is hard.
GLaDOS is the main antagonist of the Portal series, an AI supercomputer hell-bent on making the protagonist's life much harder. Portal 2 really delves into GLaDOS's origins and true personality, and is a great exploration of one of video games' best villains. If you're into puzzle-like games, or just want to have fun with one of the best gaming series ever created, check out the Portal games. Number 9.
Did I ever tell you the definition of insanity? Oh, Jesus. No. Oh, fuck you!
Thus is a big reason why Far Cry 3 was so successful. Voiced by the magnificent Michael Mando, who you may know from shows like Better Call Saul and I believe Orphan Black, he is one of the best and most quotable antagonists ever. I'm sure everyone knows the definition of insanity by now, thanks to this game, but Vast really did showcase what it takes to make a great villain, one whose actions go a long way in shaping who the protagonist becomes. My only real disappointment with the character itself is he just gets sidelined towards the end of the game, although a return really isn't out of the question from what we've seen in the recent Far Cry 6 DLC. Number 8.
Strength for Cerberus is strength for every human. Cerberus is humanity. I should have known you'd choke on the hard decisions. Too idealistic from the start.
The Elusive Man is one of the best villains in gaming, in my opinion, only heightened by Martin Sheen's excellent performance. As a huge fan of the Mass Effect games, one of my favourite series ever, I needed to have something on this list, and I think the Elusive Man is probably the best fit. He's the definition of antagonist. Behind a majority of the non-Reaper related problems throughout the original trilogy, he's the direct opposite of Commander Shepard, a man seeking control and domination. He's mysterious, excellently written, and also happens to be in one of the best gaming trilogies ever, so there's a lot to love here. Number 7.
I think you're a bit confused. I've always been with Umbrella.
I'm not sure if this one is also more of a personal opinion or the opinion of a wider audience too, but as a big Resident Evil fan, I've always found Albert Wesker to be one of the coolest villains in media. While his portrayal hasn't always been perfect, his role as the franchise antagonist is fantastic, and I'm excited to see where they go with the next remake, with Wesker expected to take on the antagonistic role once again. Number 6. Bowser is just a classic, maybe the most recognisable video game villain, and one that has spanned pretty much every generation of gaming so far. Mario's arch-nemesis is an easy pick for this list, even if I have ranked it lower than some may expect. The only reason he's not really higher is simply due to a lack of real character on show. For the most part, Bowser has always been that hulking monster Mario has to beat at the end of every game. While his character has evolved to showcase more as time has gone on, he is the original definition of final boss, and that's okay. His iconic status alone carries him through and is reason enough for him to be here. Number 5. Another Nintendo villain makes this list, and for good reason. Ganondorf is in a very similar position to Bowser, mostly reoccurring antagonist to the main protagonist of their games, this time being Link. While Bowser may be more iconic, Ganon has a long, historied backstory stemming from his time as Demise in the Skyward Sword series and how that has shaped Ganondorf throughout the years, as well as just much better character development and excellent boss fights. This is the reason Ganondorf is considered one of the very best. Most recently, we've seen Ganondorf return in Tears of the Kingdom, and showcased why Zelda fans should fear the Demon Lord once again. Number 4.
What's that saying? Don't pick a fight with a man with nothing left to lose.
The Borderlands series is known for its wacky characters, ludicrous story, and its gameplay that can only be described as mayhem half the time. Out of all of the characters in this crazy world, Handsome Jack may be the best. His character is the perfect embodiment of the humour seen in the Borderlands world, while also showcasing why he's a serious threat. From Borderlands 2 to the pre-sequel and even the Tales from the Borderlands spin-off, Jack has been able to show why he is one of gaming's greatest villains on multiple occasions. Number 3.
Here comes Kefka. Boo! Let's teach them a thing or two, or 3! It's a beautiful day for a massacre!
Final Fantasy VI is known to many as the best Final Fantasy game ever created. Much of that comes down to the characters and story the game had to tell when it released in 1994. It's a game that even today has aged very well and is easily accessible through the recent pixel remasters of the first 6 Final Fantasy games. Kefka is the main antagonist in 6, and while not being the most instantly recognisable of them all, he may be the most psychotic. Kefka is one of the most terrifying villains in gaming, and one I would love to see brought to life in the modern era too. I grew up more so on the likes of Final Fantasy 4 and 7, so while I don't get the same nostalgia a lot of people get when they see Kefka, I can still recognise how he impacted gaming and even future Final Fantasy antagonists. Number 2.
Even after everything you've done, I would have saved you.
That actually is pretty funny.
This one is pretty obvious. It's the Joker, voiced by the incredible Mark Hamill, one of the best villains in all of media, also gets to shine in video game form in the Arkham series. The Clown Prince of Crime is and always will be one of the greatest and most formidable villains in history, and his antagonistic portrayal in the Batman Arkham games only bolster that. Even Troy Baker's portrayal in Arkham Origins is excellent and serves as one of the best and most underrated stories in the franchise. There's no doubt that the Joker deserves to be on this list. A lot of people may not put him here because, he's a comic villain, he's been in everything. But just looking at the Arkham games themselves, he's just one of the best villains ever. Now, time for some quick honourable mentions. I'll just throw them out here. Micah Bell from Red Dead Redemption 2, Andrew Ryan from Bioshock, Commander Shepard from Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, and Dr. Eggman from the Sonic franchise. I really wanted to include him on this list, sad he couldn't fit on. Now, number 1.
They were mine by right. This planet too, for I have been chosen.
You can call it recency bias with the release of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, but for me, Sephiroth is now solidified as the best video game antagonist of all time. One of the best theme songs in all media, one of the best character designs. Sephiroth has it all. His presence is even felt when he's not even around. I felt after playing 100 hours, even though he's barely in there, he always feels like he's around. It's just such a great villain. He's the ultimate foil for Final Fantasy VII's Cloud, and is so popular that he's seen appearances in other video games, from Kingdom Hearts to Super Smash Bros. Of course, he's not the only person to have been in Super Smash Bros., but we all remember that Smash reveal trailer, and there's not much else to say with that one. Sephiroth is an intimidating villain, and the antagonist behind one of the greatest video game series of all time, deservedly number 1 on anyone's list. So, those were my top 10 greatest villains of all time. Of course, I may have missed a few. Of course, there might have been some that probably could have been on this list, but I want to know, who is your favourite antagonist in gaming, and are there any I've missed that you think should be on this list? Let us know in the comments, and we'll see you next time.